Now, we got news that there will definitely be some type of stimulus check going into American hands sometime before the end of this year. The question is, when you get the next stimulus check, will you be prepared to use it wisely? This video, we're going over the top 5 things that you must do before the next stimulus check drops into your hands. Welcome back to the channel. Now, if you're new here, my name is Jared and I post helpful biz tips and tricks every single Friday regarding personal finances, stock market, and real estate investments. If you learn anything from this video today, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well so you get notified when I post relevant content for you. Now, I care about all my viewers and I appreciate the time you take to watch these videos out of your busy schedule. I want you to let me know in the comments down below how you're doing during this time and what can be done to immediately help you in your time of need. Also, stick around to the end of this video for a free money tip that you can do today to start earning quick cash with no strings attached. Now, last Friday, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said you can anticipate the decision being made on whether or not to go forward with a stimulus check in about a month. Also on Tuesday, Republican Senator Roy Blunt added that his personal belief was that they will do something before the August break, and that is about the right timing. Now, as of Thursday, 42.6 million Americans have filed for unemployment during the coronavirus pandemic. These extra benefits that were provided by the Fed, which was the extra $600 weekly, are set to expire July 31st with no renewal decision on the table currently. Now, the Senate will definitely have to do something, and that something has yet to be seen. Now, Forbes has recently published an article explaining about the pros and cons of the second stimulus check and probably why there will not be a second stimulus check, but we can go over a couple of those things that they mentioned in the article. Now, the pros to getting a second stimulus check are that more than 40 million Americans have applied for unemployment benefits during the time, so it shows that there is a great need for it. Also, the COVID pandemic has caused obviously a lot of health and economic devastation, and the first stimulus check did not provide enough financial support, so definitely there needs to be more action taken. Now, the cons on the Forbes article against the second stimulus check is that the economy has improved since the first stimulus check had been issued, and the second stimulus check just costs too much money, which I also agree with, because the Fed just does not have this money and they're going to have to print it and use their money printing machine to be able to put this into the economy and get it into the Americans' hands. They also claim that a second stimulus check is just not targeted enough, and the second stimulus check will not necessarily be the best way to stimulate the economy. And if you think about that for a second, it does kind of make sense, because people are not spending their stimulus checks like they were to be able to go out and buy shoes and buy a whole bunch of other stuff that you just wouldn't need. People more so are focused on the necessities of life during this time, and that in turn will make people save more instead of spend more money. Now, there's been some other stimulus proposals that you might have heard around YouTube, so let's just go over those one by one really quickly. Mark Cuban had proposed giving Americans $1,000 every 2 weeks. You could basically cross that off the table because the Senate is just not going to approve that. Now, Andrew Yang also proposed $1,000 a month for life through a freedom dividend, and you can basically cross that off the table because the Republicans definitely don't like that kind of thing, especially in terms when you're talking about paying people for the rest of their life, and every American would qualify for it. Now, Kamala Harris and Andrew Yang this week have renewed their call to get you a $2,000 a month stimulus check, but you can basically cross that off the table as well, because this will just be too much money for the Fed to print, and the Senate is just not going to approve something like this. Also, be sure to watch my last video about forgetting the second stimulus check and why that's not really going to help you, and as I already explained before in many other videos, that a $1,200 stimulus check just isn't going to do much. However, when it comes to the other proposals that I just mentioned, that's just going to be too costly for the Senate, and getting something like that through the Senate, especially through the Republicans, is just not going to happen, at least not anytime soon. Now, with all that being said, and now you've been updated on what's been going on throughout the last week, let's talk about what you should do before you even get the next stimulus check so you can be prepared to use that check wisely. Now, if you don't already have an online savings account, you absolutely must get one, because this is your key to earning compound interest daily on money you're currently not using. This will allow you to grow your pool of money bigger in the long run, since this interest compounds daily. Now, there's a bunch of different online banks you can use, but some of the more popular ones are ones like Ally, Discover, and Capital One 360, which would at least get you at least 1% annual percentage yield. The next thing you can do after that is make sure you start budgeting your money using a proven strategy. You got to think ahead and get into the practice of budgeting every month before that month begins. That way you know what your budget is. Now, once you get 1 month's budget correct and you seem to have a handle on it, you can use that budget to take over to the next month and you can adjust it accordingly. And remember, don't be afraid to revise your budget since these budgets will change over time as your needs grow. You've got to take charge of your money and figure out where every dollar goes, and to do that, there's simple budgets that you can use that are able to streamline this process for you. Now, a popular one you can use is a 50-30-20 rule budget, and this only requires you to divide your expenses into three main categories. The first category for 50% are your needs, the 30% is your wants, and the 20% category is your debts and savings. You can also use envelope budgeting or cash only budgeting. Now, this type of budget is when you only actually use cash to spend money and you don't use any credit cards or other forms of plastic such as debit cards to make your purchases. Now, if you really want to get in there and make your budget super effective, you can use a zero-based budget, which is more time consuming, but it accounts for where every single dollar goes, and you've got to delegate a job for them to do. And the main way you can get this done is just basically list out all your expenses on a spreadsheet or Google Sheets, which is the easiest way to go about this, and tally up everything manually, count all your expenses up manually, and also take the money that you're earning and delegate it and make sure you're tracking each and every dollar and see where it's spent. The third thing you've got to do is really fix your mental state and don't be so negative about 2020. Now, even though it seems like 2020 will never end and it's just complete and utter chaos, you've got to use this time to grow and think to yourself and figure out why you're in the situations that you're currently in and use this time to your advantage. Could you have done something differently in your life and change your situation? If so, start identifying those things and start implementing them today. Don't let 2020 bring you down. Let it build you up. And remember, let this be your milestone as your year of change, and don't focus on the negative. Focus on the positive and what you can do for yourself. It's also important to remember that you can't win financially if mentally you always feel like a loser. Don't accept defeat under tough circumstances. You've got to stay positive and don't overwhelm yourself. Take a deep breath and calm down. Keep your stress levels down, and remember that stressing out about something will not get you the answer that you're looking for. The fourth thing you've got to do is if you have a business or you want to start a business during this time, then you've got to map out your business plan before you even get the capital. Got a hobby you've always wanted to turn into a money-making machine? We'll use this next round of stimulus to start building that business. Start writing out your business plan and use a traditional business plan format. This format should include the executive summary, which will briefly tell you what the company is about and why it will be successful. The next section is a company description, and you got to provide detailed information about your company and go into detail about the problems that your company will solve. The next phase is market analysis, which you will be doing competitive research against people who are already currently doing what you want to do and figure out which ones are the best at doing it and how you can beat them. The next section you should have is the business and organization management, and this will tell you how the company will be structured, who will run it, and how it will be organized. Then fill out the next section, which is a service and product line. This will describe what you sell and what you offer and explain the benefits to your customer and what the life cycle looks like to buying a product and selling that product. You also want to talk about the marketing and sales and how you'll be able to retain customers and how a sale will actually happen. Now, if you're looking for funding, you're going to have to add in a funding request section as well, and this will basically outline the next 3 to 5 years of where the funding will go if you receive the funding and how much funding will you need. Now, this next one is a little bit tricky to include the financial projections. If you've already had a company that's already established, then you can use the cash flow and the balance sheet to show that your business can sustain itself. If you're new, then you basically have to just be able to describe in your business plan how you'll be able to be a financial success and how that money will be able to keep you afloat and what your projections are on that. And if necessary, you're going to have to include an appendix as well, and in the appendix you usually have things like patents, legal permits, licenses, references, and different types of letters and things of that nature in relevance to your business. Now, last but not least is number 5. This is figuring out what skills you like to learn or any certifications you need to get to put towards a better future for yourself. Now, this can include a CPA, a real estate license, or any other type of certification that you may want to get. If you do want to go into the financial route, then you can check out the link in the description down below to smartasset.com, which explains the top 10 financial certifications that you can get. Well, you made it to the end of the video, and as promised, I'm going to give you one free money tip. If you haven't already started investing and want to do so, then this is a great time for you to check out the Webull platform, which is offering you 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400. All you've got to do is use the link down below, which is my referral link, to deposit $100 into the account. You don't even have to invest it. You don't have to spend it. You don't have to do anything with it. Simply just move the money over and wait for your 2 free stocks to go into your account. Then from that point, you can either keep the 2 free stocks or you can sell them on the market and make fast cash just for moving money from one point to another point. And how great is that? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every Friday I post relevant content for you. Hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and also leave me a comment down below of what you thought of this video. Make sure you find me on Twitter where I talk about stocks and real estate daily, and also find me on Instagram and say hello to me there as well. Remember to invest in your health and your wealth, and those are the 2 most important things that you can invest in during this time. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the next video, and I hope you follow these top 5 tips. See you next time.